The Rosewood Grand Hotel stood tall, its marble floors gleaming under crystal chandeliers. For nearly 3 years, 24-year-old Sophia had polished those floors until they folded towels with corners as sharp as creases in a tailored suit and plastered on a polite smile for guests who rarely noticed her existence. Just another maid in a starched white uniform. Then she checked in. The guest's name was Isabella Devoru, heir to a global fashion empire. She swept through the hotel lobby in silk and stilettos, her heels clicking against the marble floor like a practiced song. All eyes followed her path, marveling at her youth, her stunning looks, and her impossibly rich lifestyle. Whispers echoed in the kitchen where Sophia stood with a tray of fresh fruit and coffee. She's alone, no family, no friends. Just her and her millions. Rich, famous, and beautiful. What else could she want? Someone to take care of her. Someone like you, Sophie? Those words hit Sophia like a shard of glass. She had always been invisible, just another face in the crowd. But Isabella's suite was different. The room itself seemed to hum with anticipation as Sophia carefully set down the tray. "Come in," a smooth voice called. When Sophia stepped inside, her breath hitched. Isabella stood by the window, her back to the door. Sunlight streamed through the glass, illuminating the rich fabric of her robe, the expensive silk that fell to her mid. Her dark hair cascaded down her shoulders, framing a slender neck and delicate features. As she turned, Sophia saw her face for the first time. Sharp, gray, and curiously intense eyes met hers, sending a shiver down Sophia's spine. "You're not like the others, are you?" Isabella said with a faint smile, her gaze unwavering. Startled by the intensity of those eyes, Sophia managed a shaky response. "I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to intrude. I just have breakfast for you." "Don't call me ma'am. It makes me feel old. Call me Isabella." Sophia blinked, surprised by the request. Usually, wealthy guests were disinterested in anything but their own comfort. This one, though, was different. Over the next week, Sophia found herself lingering in Isabella's suite longer than necessary. The pile of neatly folded clothes seemed to multiply overnight. Extra chocolates appeared in the turn-down service, and the flowers were always arranged in brighter colors. Sometimes she even paused to talk. Unlike other wealthy guests, Isabella actually listened. She asked about Sophia's life, her dreams, why she worked at the hotel. On the 5th day, Sophia knocked on Isabella's door. A violent storm raged outside. Rain lashed against the windows and thunder rumbled like a giant's anger. "Come in," Isabella's voice called. Inside, a fire crackled in the hearth, casting flickering shadows on the walls. Isabella sat on a plush sofa, a glass of wine in her hand. "I know it's silly," she said with a faint smile, gesturing to the storm, "but it reminds me of home. There's nothing like a good rainstorm to make you feel alive, don't you think?" Sophia looked at her questioningly. Isabella took a sip of her wine, her gaze fixed on the dancing flames. "Do you ever feel like you're meant to be somewhere else? Like there's something more waiting for you just beyond the horizon?" she continued, her voice low and thoughtful. "I've always felt that way, trapped by my life, by the expectations and the obligations. But maybe this storm is a sign that I'm not alone in feeling that way." She turned to look at Sophia, her eyes searching. "Tell me, do you feel it too? That pull towards something unknown, something more?" Sophia hesitated, taken aback by the sudden intensity of the conversation, but something in Isabella's gaze The raw vulnerability mixed with quiet strength compelled her to speak. "I do," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the roar of the wind. "I feel it too." A comfortable silence settled between them, punctuated only by the crackling of the fire and the pounding of the rain. Sophia sipped her wine, her gaze drifting to the swirling patterns in the carpet. She couldn't remember the last time she'd had a conversation like this. So open, so honest, with a guest, with anyone. Isabella broke the silence. "What do you dream of, Sophia?" she asked, her voice soft yet direct. "Dreams," Sophia echoed, turning to face her. "I used to dream of studying art, of traveling the world, capturing its beauty on canvas. But life, well, life has a way of forcing you to grow up fast." "Your paintings," Isabella pressed, sensing the hesitation in Sophie's voice. "Tell me about your paintings." Sophia hesitated, then took a deep breath. "I like watercolors," she said, a hint of wistfulness in her voice. "There's a freedom to them, a spontaneity that I find liberating. I love how colors blend and textures merge on the paper, creating something both delicate and powerful. It's a reflection, I suppose, of how I see the world." Isabella nodded, her gaze intent. "That sounds beautiful," she murmured. "Perhaps you should find time to paint again, to let your art flow like the colors on your canvas." As the week went on, Sophia found herself drawn to Isabella as sweet, not just because of the extra chocolates or the bright flowers, but because of the rare moments of connection she experienced there. Moments that hinted at a world beyond the polished marble floors and starched uniforms. Isabella, with her quiet strength and genuine interest, had a way of making Sophia feel seen, heard, valued. It was a feeling she had long forgotten she deserved. On Isabella's 5th night at the hotel, Sophia stood beside her as she packed. Suitcases lay open, half-packed with clothes that whispered of wealth and luxury. Sophia watched as Isabella struggled with a particularly stubborn clasp. "Here, let me help you with that," she offered, her fingers brushing against Isabella's as she reached for the suitcase. The touch sent a jolt through Sophia, a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Thank you," Isabella replied, her voice husky. Later that night, after Isabella was tucked into bed with a stack of pillows and a mountain of blankets against the chill, Sophia lingered at the door. She had never dared to before, but tonight something compelled her. "Sophia," Isabella called softly, reaching out a hand. Startled, Sophia turned to face her. Isabella beckoned with her finger for her to come closer. Hesitantly, Sophia approached, her heart pounding in her chest. The air between them crackled with unspoken energy. "You're leaving tomorrow," Sophia stated, more than asked. Isabella nodded, her gaze dropping to her hands. "Yes, I wish it were different," she whispered. Sophia couldn't help but step closer. She didn't know where this was going, but she couldn't stop herself. "Me too," she breathed. Suddenly, Isabella lifted her head, her eyes blazing with newfound determination. "No more," she said firmly. "Not like this. Not if I have anything to say about it." She reached out, her fingers tracing the lines of Sophia's face. "You're staying with me. We'll travel the world together. Just say yes, Sophia, please." Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes, blurring Isabella's face. "But what about your life here?" she asked, her voice trembling. "My family, my friends, my job." "How could I just leave everything behind?" "We'll make new memories, new friendships. As for your family, they'll understand They have to, Isabella said, her grip tightening on Sophia's hand. I won't ask you again, Sophia. Just promise me we'll go away together. Sophia closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Her life had been safe, predictable. Now it was a storm, threatening to pull her under, but also promising adventure. When she opened her eyes, she saw the reflection of the storm in Isabella's face, passion, fear, and hope. She knew in that moment she couldn't let Isabella go. Yes, she whispered, her voice filled with conviction. Yes, I'll go with you. A wide smile spread across Isabella's face, lighting up her eyes with joy. Oh, Sophia, she exclaimed, pulling her close. You won't regret this. As the sun rose, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, Sophia stood beside Isabella as her car pulled away from the curb. Her heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. She had left everything familiar behind: her family, her friends, her entire life. But she wasn't alone. Beside her was Isabella, her hand warm and reassuring, and so looking back at the receding view of the hotel, Sophia realized she wasn't just saying goodbye to a building, she was leaving behind the old version of herself, the timid girl who had always put everyone else's needs before her own. Now, with Isabella by her side, she was ready to embrace the unknown, to explore the world and discover the depths of her own strength and creativity. The adventure was just beginning.